fly to these various areas, to these various cocaine hubs, meet with distributors, broker the deals.
He traveling almost every other day, you know what I'm saying? It was like, man, every time he lived out his suitcase. Even when he was at home, he lived out his suitcase. We don't barely see him.
If it was a dealer, say in Ohio, if they want to say 50 kilograms, we would make a conference call. So they would be on the telephone, the godmother, me, and the dealer. So he would be like, okay, I just purchased a brand new Mercedes-Benz in Ohio. I paid $40,000 for it. So that me and the godmother know I need 40 kilograms delivered in Ohio. I would call one of the sales who was closest to that location.
He called me up. He knew I was going to take care of business. He asked me, hey, Will, you know, I need you to take care of something. I took care of it.
The sale would call a cocaine stash house. The drugs would be exchanged from one of the sales to the other sale.
I had a key person that I was to meet with. I was to go there. I was to pick up the package. I would deliver it to whoever I needed to deliver it to, and everything would be kosher.
And the second sale would drive the drugs to the location, to the dealer's people. Once the couriers linked up and the drugs was exchanged for the money would come back that same route, you know, to this courier, to that courier, and then it made its way back to California, to me. And from there, you know, another courier would come and get it from me, and then it made its way to the Cayman Islands, Panamanian account, all the way to Banco of Colombia.
Really, he tried to explain to me, but I was like, I had my ears closed. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't really like to want to know too much business, because when you know too many people business like that, and then if you go to jail, you know what I'm saying, now they spook, because you know everything. So I didn't want to really make him feel like that, and I didn't need to know his business. As long as I know I'm dealing with him, I'm dealing with a cool cat, he trusts me, that's all I needed to know.
You have to have some sort of trust.
When he schooled me, he was like, man, you got to be loyalty in this. It's loyalty, then comes royalty, you feel me? But if there ain't no trust, you know what I'm saying, you don't get nowhere.
But say, for instance, somebody did run off with $1 million, I mean, is their life worth $1 million? Because you're going to die if you steal from the godmother. So, your family going to die. So, is $1 million really worth your life? The godmother, she rewarded me with a Rolex chain. It cost her $20,000. One of her subordinates just brought it to the house one day. Well, this is a gift to you from the godmother. 30 days in, I went from having maybe $10,000, $20,000 a month earlier to having $400,000 in cash. 45 days in, I was worth $1 million. I was a millionaire 45 days after meeting her. My lifestyle had went from a street-level dealer, which, I mean, Oakland was plentiful with street-level dealers, to a multi-millionaire status, I mean, within months. On the month, I was averaging $700,000 to $800,000, probably about $9 million a year I averaged. More money than anybody from Oakland has ever seen, as far as the street shit is concerned. I went and bought a Corvette ZR1, $65,000, heavy pieces of gold jewelry and diamond rings. And I had to have those, but I was basically a clothes horse. I loved clothes. I always liked to dress nice. Me and my associates, we, you know, went to all the end parties. You know, we just basically wanted to be seen. You know, linked up with a few women here and there.
The beautifulest women I've ever seen in my life. The best champagne, Cristal. I mean, he took me out in Ferraris, Bentleys. It was the first time I really ever experienced what money can really do.
I like to have a lot of attention when I go places. And I like people to stare at me. That shit make me feel good. It makes me feel important.
My name was ringing because, I mean, I was the man with the sack.
People just kept fucking with him because they knew that they had some security with him.
You selling weight. You pushing weight. You know what I'm saying? You got a piece of the American pie now. You living federal. You feel me? So it's like, niggas, shit go off. Pull up on a clean ass bitch. You know what I'm saying? The clean ass car, flossing your jewelry. Like, what's up, bitch? You know what I'm saying? You see me, bitch. You feel me? Now I'm living the life. You know what I'm saying? Gangstafied. You feel me?
I became so large working for the godmother that my reputation and my connections expanded far beyond Oakland's reach. The country beckoned.
See, when you a big dog like that, like Charles was, you ain't gonna get fucked by no pup.
I was at the top of the food chain. It wasn't nobody bigger than me.
I'm a motherfucking, I'm a motherfucking, I'm a motherfucking, you better ask about me. I'm a motherfucking, I'm a motherfucking, I'm a motherfucking, you better ask about me.
Throughout Griselda's illustrious career as a cocaine queenpin, there was not one black dealer that was in her inner circle.
Griselda had customers, a few Cubans, but I mean blacks, we didn't have nothing to do with them.
There was not one member that was black who was even affiliated or associated with the godmother.
There was no blacks at all in our organization.
I don't know because of she was a racist, as some have said, or if because traditionally Colombian organizations and Italian organizations close ranks on black criminals.
I don't like them motherfuckers, you know. And back then, I like them less.
A lot of fractured egos because most of them, if not all, didn't like me. I was basically a nigga to them. They talk shit about, about this little black nigga. He's so unworthy to share company with the Godmother. And there was employees with her since her Queen's days. I had been with her 15, 20 years. And so in a short period of time, I became more important to the Godmother than they were. They were passed over, and a black man, a nigger, I was the guy that they had to take orders from. Word got back to the Godmother, they didn't approve of what she was doing. Well, she basically blasted their asses, telling them, you son of a bitches, y'all don't have no control of what the fuck I do with my life. If I want to fuck a black man, I can fuck a black man. If I want to love a black man, I can love a black man. It's not a motherfucking thing you can do. If you don't like it, get the fuck out of my life. Well, it's a multi-purpose room, with tables spread throughout. In the back of the multi-purpose room, it's a stage. It's a curtain. Behind the curtain, it's a locked door. What the guards did before I got to the prison at 8 o'clock that morning, they basically unlocked the door. All we had to do was just position ourselves at the last table in the back of the multi-purpose room. I just slid the door open. We got on stage. We had sexual relations. It was maybe 3 or 4 minutes. It was hurried sex. Closed the door behind us and sat back down at the table. Each time I banged the Godmother, it cost her $1,500 to the guards. Every time I came to visit, it was at least once a week. Sometime more, it depends. If it was overcrowded or whatever. $1,500 every time, no more, no less.
I love you with my whole motherfucking heart, I really love you. I mean, sincerely. I just feel it deep in my heart for you,
In appearance, she's just a fat old lady, but in speaking to prison officials where she actually was housed, she still had that charisma. She still wielded power inside the prison system. How she does it, I don't know, but she pulls it off.
Griselda was even a Godmother behind prison walls. Standard issue in any federal prison is tan khakis. Not for the Godmother. She was no ordinary inmate. When you have money and power like the Godmother, the guards will give you whatever you need or whatever you want. They were on her payroll. They treated me with respect, man. They treated, because they know I'm coming to see Griselda, they treated me with respect. We would give them dope, they would take it to Griselda's cell at the end of the visit. We would bring her money, they would take it to her, jewelry, Colombian sausage, perfume, whatever it is she desired, she got. She was the Godmother, she was a billionaire. In early 1992, the 3 Blanco brothers were released from Lewisburg Federal Prison. Osvaldo, his INS request was denied, so he was deported back to Colombia as well as his other 2 brothers. Osvaldo was in Colombia about 4 or 5 months.
I believe 2 of her sons that did go back to Colombia are no longer with us.
They probably would have been better off staying in jail for 20 years. At least they'd be alive. Osvaldo, he was killed first in Medellin.
It was a celebration and held in Osvaldo's honor at a nightclub. And Osvaldo was assassinated that same night.
He was machine gunned. A typical Scarface type of scenario.
About 4 o'clock that morning, the phone rang. There was a line that only Godmother and her children had access to. So I answered the phone, and it was Dixon on the other line. He was crying. And so he explained to me that his brother Osvaldo had been killed hours earlier, and he wanted me to relay the message to the Godmother. It shattered my world. I was brokenhearted because this was a guy who, I had come to look up to as a brother. He loved me. Me and him would take trips to Los Angeles before he was deported to Colombia. I didn't want to be the one to tell the Godmother because I didn't know how close her and Osvaldo were. But it became my job to tell her. At 6 o'clock that morning, the Godmother called me. I was crying. She asked what Charles was wrong. I said, I have bad news to tell you. It's about Osvaldo. He was killed earlier this morning in Colombia. The Godmother said, Charles, are you playing some kind of joke on me? You know what I'm saying? She laughed a little bit, but she was like, well, this is not funny. I said, no, Godmother, I'm not playing a joke. Osvaldo was killed. Osvaldo was dead. She just let out a blood-curdling scream at the top of her lungs. She dropped the phone, and after Osvaldo was murdered, it became difficult to secure drugs at this time. He was the one I was going through to get my supply. So with Osvaldo's passing, I had to depend basically on El Negro. Although the Godmother called the shots, El Negro is the one in charge of moving the merchandise from Colombia to the United States. El Negro is Dixon. Dixon didn't like me. He didn't like me from